Coffezilla video. Do you believe that he doesn't actually know he's being intensely bad faith? No, he has to know that.
Logan Paul
There's
is
no
suing-
way that you read that any part of that or the Fry's case and you're like, well, yeah, they clearly meant that like for violence, warlike manner, and they're like, even if these people are assembled without having weapons, but enough people, that could mean evidence of like, intimidation. And Rob's like, oh, they're saying that just like 1,000 people together protesting could be intimidation. Like, Rob, is that really how you read that in the context of this entire thing? Where they're talking about insurrections, where they're talking about people assembled in warlike manners, where they're talking about people assembled in military uniforms with guns and swords? You really think that's what this means? Okay. Wait, what video? I thought I saw somebody link a video earlier about the scam for $1 million. Am I crazy? Oh, another.
I got scammed for $1 million, and
What
here's
did you
my
get scammed
story.
by?
You may have seen the video on my main channel where I talk about how we should have been covered up to $1 million.
I feel like for every piece of evidence you bring up, Rob takes it as an independent event and explains it away as if it's unconnected. Yeah, like when he says, like, was it illegal for Trump to say that? Was it illegal for Trump to say this? And I'm like, no, of course it's not. It's also not illegal to do any individual aspect of a criminal conspiracy unless it's the crime itself. But, like, that's why it's a conspiracy. It's part of a plan, right? Yeah. Holy shit. But I think it says something when all of these debates are like so autistically done to avoid engaging with like any of the fucking substance whatsoever. But that's fine. Okay. All right. We're reading this and then I'm done. Okay. It's already late. Fuck you guys.
I got scammed for $1 million, and here's my story. You may have seen the video on my main channel where I talk about how we should have been covered up to $1 million for this lawsuit against Logan Paul because we have what's called media insurance or errors and omissions insurance. The reason I got this
Errors and omissions insurance. Errors and omissions insurance. What does this mean? Errors and omissions insurance is a type of liability insurance that covers claims against your business for mistakes you made or services you failed to provide. E&O insurance protects your business from claims by clients for negligence, malpractice, errors, or omissions you allegedly made while providing a professional service. The insurance helps you pay for your legal fees and any owed damages or settlements. Could this cover, do you think this normally cover, does this ordinarily cover defamation? I guess it could if you're like a media thing. Errors and omissions, insurance, defamation. Errors and omissions, insurance protects against claims of libel or slander, also referred to as personal injury claims, that arise as a result of you performing your professional duties. Okay, so it looks like at least it can. Okay. All right.
the reason most media companies get this is because of defamation lawsuits, especially if you're going to do original reporting.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Sorry. One more thing. Yeah. Him saying that, like, the definition of insurrection at the time was, like, so vague and meaningless, or, like, they were just trying to protect against a civil war, so it shouldn't apply today. And then I'm like, what about the Second Amendment? And he's like, well, there were semi-automatic weapons that existed at the time. And I'm like, in the year 1785 or whatever the fuck, there were semi-automatic weapons. And he's like, yeah, the flintlock hyper shoot pistol that they made two of, or like, okay.
On very rich people and accuse them of things like scamming, you know, people don't take too kindly to that. And many times they will threaten to frivolously sue you. Sometimes they even will sue you, and you have to be prepared to defend yourself. It's very expensive, and so you want some way to do that. So you can get insured for that. You can get insured for defamation. And we've actually used the same type of defamation insurance or errors and omissions insurance to cover ourselves before and successfully done that. This time we thought it would be no different. So when we got sued, I saw a lot of great support from people saying, look, I want to help. I want to help you, kind of like, you know, you should do a GoFundMe or whatever. And I said to myself, well, look, I don't want to do that because I don't need it. And many commenters knew that I had insurance and they said, hey, he doesn't need it. Don't worry. He's got this errors and omissions insurance. I was like, yeah, you're right. You know, that's true. Except then I called my insurance company to put in a claim. I'm like, yo, knock, knock. We've been paying you thousands of dollars a year. Why not time for you to pay up? And they promptly called back. They're like, actually, no, we're not going to do that because in the fine print of our policy, your new policy, we've excluded ourselves from defamation claims.
Oh, no. Okay. Fuck. I don't want to get on the bad side of the internet here, okay? Okay. Let me... Oh, Jesus. Fuck. I got to be really careful, all right? I don't want to make an enemy of the wrong side of the internet, all right? Fine print should be a red flag word when somebody says it. When you say fine print, do you just mean like the terms of your agreement or contract, or like was this like hidden at the bottom of a thing that you had like no reason to even think that you should read? Because I don't know what you mean by fine print. Like, this is an insurance policy. What do you mean fine print? I'm wondering, well, hold on. I'm only a minute 50 in. I wonder if they sent, sometimes you'll notice you might get an email and it might say like, oh, like we're updating your policy or whatever. Like, here are the changes, and or go read these changes or whatever. I wonder if they didn't read, but we'll find out. Okay.
So I was confused. I was like, wait, but the whole reason I got this was defamation. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what does this cover if not defamation? They're like, well, errors and omissions. And I'm thinking, what do you call errors and omissions in media? You call it defamation. I mean, if CNN goes on and they make an error about some random person, that person's not going to sue them for the error. They're going to sue them for defamation. So I was
maybe not. There's probably tons of other like errors and omissions that could arise as part of your practice here. I don't know his particular contract, but I could just think of one thing. Like maybe me and Coffezilla had agreed to collab on a video, and I find that I plan a part of my content around it, and then he bails on me, and I'm like, hey, we were going to do this, we agreed to do this, and now you said you're not, and I'm going to fucking sue you for this. You fucked my shit over. I promised my audience, and now you fucked me over. I think it sounds like that in the like an error in his ordinary practice or whatever, that type of insurance could theoretically cover at least the litigation fees for a case like that. I don't think it would always be or only exclusively be defamation. That's at least just from the thing that I just read very quickly. That's what it seems, but we'll see it.
Confused. I was like wildly confused. I go to my policy. I'm like shocked to find, yeah, okay, sure enough. Yep, you guys are excluded from defamation. And I'm like, how did this happen? So that requires the full story. So that's the TLDR. Scammed for $1 million. If they had paid out the whole claim, right? Like that's obviously a big part of this.
Did Coffezilla, did he already pay $1 million? Or was that like the maximum amount they would cover? Has he already paid $1 million in legal fees, or?
Ultimately, we paid like, I think during the lifetime of this insurance, we probably paid like a few tens of thousands of dollars to this insurance. So it hasn't been cheap to pay for insurance that ultimately did nothing. So we at minimum got scammed for that amount. If you actually look at the total policy we had, it was up to $1 million. So I don't think it's a stretch.
Okay, as you know, the undersigned law firm represents the interest of those certain interested underwriters at blank, underwriters blank, above reference insured pursuant to the above referenced policy. Subject to its terms and conditions, the policy contains the limits of liability of $1 million for each claim, and in the aggregate for all claims, with a $15,000 deductible obligation per claim. The limits of liability and the deductible include and are reduced by both damages and claim expenses. The policy incepted for a 1-year period on July 25th, 2023, and is subject to a retroactive date of July 25th, 2022, and is subject to a I don't know what that means. The policy incepted for a 1-year period on. This sounds like if you would like write a contract, but let's say the contract started like a month ago, and then you would subject it to a retroactive. I don't understand this part. I guess I don't know. On behalf of underwriters, please allow this letter to formally acknowledge receipt of the above referenced matter. For the reasons set forth herein, underwriters hereby deny coverage for this matter in its entirety. Our understanding of the facts relevant to this matter is based solely upon our review of the materials submitted by and conversations with representatives of the insured. Please notify us as soon as possible if our understanding of the facts is incorrect in any way or needs to be clarified. E&O in media is mostly used for accidental, unlicensed copyright usage. For example, a Marvel movie using a piece of art in their background that wasn't cleared by the artist. Oh, sure, that makes sense. It could be, okay. Okay, so this is a letter that he thought we sent, or this was sent right now. Okay, so this was a law firm was sending him a letter saying that his insurance company is not going to coverage this matter in its entirety, the Logan Paul matter. Okay.
Let's just say we got scammed for $1 million, but the full story I think is even more interesting. So initially we had gotten a
now we'll see what he says, and I could be misunderstanding. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like they're no longer covering claims of defamation. It sounds like they're just saying for this particular matter, because of the facts of this case, we don't believe that it qualifies for your for whatever your current policy is. But I don't know, maybe he'll expand on it. But because it sounds like they're saying, for the reasons set forth herein, our understanding of the facts relevant to this matter is based solely upon our review of the materials, and they're saying that they're going to deny coverage based on those facts. But I guess it could be the facts are that it's a defamation claim and we don't cover that, but I don't know, we'll see.
I don't think it's a stretch to say we got scammed for $1 million, but the full story I think is even more interesting. So initially, we had gotten a message from another YouTuber who had just been in a lawsuit. This is how we started getting into this whole thing. And they told us, look, dude, I just paid $250,000. We were small at this time. He goes, I just got paid $250,000 to fight this lawsuit. I'm in the right. It's totally frivolous. This guy knows it. You need to make sure you get this thing called errors and omissions insurance.
$250,000? Who's he talking about? Holy shit.
So you can be protected like I was. So we were a small channel, and relatively the insurance was going to be very expensive for us. But I appreciated that, and I thought, that's really wise. If this channel continues in a certain direction, in the type of content that I want to produce, we need to have this. So we found a broker who kind of advertised himself as like, look, every YouTuber needs defamation insurance if they're going to be publicly talking about news, about like different topics. So you get a hold of this guy, and we say, hey, we want that. So he goes, great. So he shops us around some insurance, and we pretty immediately find some carriers who are willing to take us because at the time our channel is much smaller, and I would just say it's like less risky, so to speak, because the smaller you are, the less people are going to see it. It's just not as big of a risk. So we get covered. And in 2019 or 2020, we get a cease and desist letter from Dan Locke. Okay, I'm just trying to remember the year. I'm not so clear about the years, but I just remember we got a cease and desist from Dan Locke. It was one of our first. And the guy showed up at our house, really freaked us out. He's like, hey, are you blah, blah, blah? I'm like, yes. He's like, oh, not you've been served, but like here, this is, aha, we got you. So I'm reading the cease and desist letter. It's very like angry. Lawyers use that language like, you have to respond. Like, da-da-da. We're going to take very, heavy legal action against you. So we were freaked out. So I called my insurance and I was like, ring, ring. Hey, we're getting a cease and desist for defamation. Can you help? They're like, yep, we cover that. That's the whole point of the stuff. That's why you got it. So we're going to get you a lawyer. So we got a lawyer. We fought the cease and desist. It ultimately turned into nothing. In fact, most cease and desist letters turn into nothing. But we were relieved. We were like, okay, great. This stuff works. I'm very glad we have it. So we go the next year, and it gets more expensive, significantly more expensive, this type of insurance, because as you use it, they're like, well, you're a risk now. Now that you've used the thing you paid for, we have to charge you a lot more for it.
Wait, hold on.
As you use it, we go the next year, and it gets more expensive, significantly more expensive, this type of insurance, because as you use it, they're like, well, you're a risk now. Now that you've used the thing you paid for, we have to charge you a lot more for it. It's maybe like getting into an accident with like car insurance. But what I find a little unfair about this is we did nothing wrong. Like we didn't do anything. In fact, our claims, I think, were fair. And I don't think they were defamatory at all. But either way, the price goes up. We're happy to pay. We're like, sure, we don't care. As the years go, our channel starts getting bigger. And the channel, from an insurer's point of view, gets more risky, right? They're like, you're bigger, you get more views. Therefore, more eyeballs see it. You need to pay more money. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever. At one point, the insurance company we had been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year. So we go to our insurance broker and we're like, okay, what do we do? He's like, well, I can shop you around a bunch more policies. What do you want? And we're like, well, we just want similar coverage. He goes, great. So he goes around. They work with a bunch of people.
Wait.
We actually don't want to do this anymore. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
And the channel.
Wait. Okay. Wait. Jesus. All right.
From it, we're happy to pay. We're like, sure, we don't care. As the years go, our channel starts getting bigger. And the channel, from an insurer's point of view, gets more risky, right? They're like, you're bigger, you get more views. Therefore, more eyeballs see it. You need to pay more money. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever. At one point, the insurance company we had been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year.
You might have already received this notice, but your current EO policy with blank is being non-renewed. This just means we'll have to get you coverage elsewhere. Get your coverage elsewhere. So please fill out the attached application and return it to me now that we're 60 days out from the expiration date. Okay, so this is his legal team, I guess? Or a guy that works with them for legal stuff? Or
at one point, the insurance company we had been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year.
I don't understand this. He says this is the insurance company saying we'll have to get your coverage elsewhere, so please fill out the attached application. Return to me now that we're 60 days out from... It's an insurance broker. Oh, it's a broker, a middleman. Okay.
So we go to our insurance broker. More eyeballs.
Okay, I see. Okay.
You need to pay more money. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever. At one point, the insurance company we had been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year.
Okay.
So we go to our insurance broker and we're like, okay, what do we do? He's like, well, I can shop you around a bunch more policies. What do you want? And we're like, well, we just want similar coverage. He goes, great. So he goes around. They work with a bunch of people.
Sorry, I'm getting back to you a little late in the timeline here, as your policy with us is set to expire in a couple weeks on 7/11/22. Please fill out the attached app and return it to me ASAP so I can try to get your renewal quote with similar coverages, limits, and premiums as last year. The market is a little tougher this year than it was in 2021. We received more declinations than before. So please get this to me as soon as you can so we can hopefully get you the best price possible.
And they're like looking for a while. We start getting nervous. We start getting close to the deadline of when we have to renew. And because it's kind of a big deal. You don't want to lapse your coverage because then you say something, it's not covered, whatever. So finally, we're getting down to the wire. He's like, look, I do have this one insurance company we can go to. I don't know. They're kind of like, we can go to them. So we're like, yeah, dude, well, anything. Finally, he comes back. He goes, great news. They're going to do it. And we're like, oh, awesome. Is it more expensive? He's like, yeah, it's like 40% more expensive. We're like, we don't care. That's fine. We'll pay it. So he goes, great, sign this, whatever. And we're good. So we sign it. And we're like, great. Little did I know, these guys had put a special exclusion, two exclusions actually that are relevant. The biggest one in this policy was on page like 31, and it said, we are excluded from covering. It's all these things they won't cover. They're like, we won't cover defamation. Now, that's the only reason we're buying the insurance. But we don't see it. Now, there's a lot of like, whose fault is this? Is this the fault of the underwriter for not flagging it? Is it the fault of our broker for not telling us because he's the expert? Is it our fault for not reading the whole, all 50-something pages of the
Okay, I don't have the best understanding of like insurance and all that because fuck insurance and fuck all that. My assumption though for this is that you would 1,000,000,000,000% hold the fucking broker accountable. Why the fuck would I have a middleman if it's not his job explicitly to read through the fucking policies? That's why the fuck you pay a middleman. Otherwise, fuck you. I'll just go sign up for the insurance directly. Why the fuck would you have a broker if he's not looking out for your interest? This is why he collects a fee. He's getting paid for it. Isn't that why you have a broker? Isn't this the point of having a broker? What the fuck?
contract? We're not insurance experts, but should we have read it? Should we have hired a lawyer, right?
No, bullshit. Should you have a lawyer for other purposes? Sure. But I mean, like, if you have a broker, I would assume that this is part of their ordinary work. This is part of what they do. Like, imagine that your broker had signed you up for a policy and you find out that the policy was actually 52 pages of them writing red rum over and over and over again. Like, should you have read the policy? I mean, no, that's why you're paying someone else to do it. What the fuck?
We're not reading the whole, all 50-something pages of the contract. We're not insurance experts, but should we have read it? Should we have hired a lawyer, right? I'm not going to get into all of that in this video. The point is, there's this exception in the fine print that we never hear about. And there's also an exception from what they call like digital assets. Like, it's like they're excluded from covering it if it's about digital assets. Now, if you've seen my content, all the videos are, well, not all of them, but a lot of videos are about some type of digital asset. So it's like they wrote a policy, charges 40% more, and then every single part of the policy is like just drawing a box where it's like, we won't cover anything that this channel talks about. So anyway, I mean, I guess that's good business for them if they can get people to like sign it. And it was sent to us like by a broker. They're like, yeah, this is the only guy that'll cover you. Here's the only thing you can get. And we're like, okay, great. So we pay for this for like 2 or 3 years. I forgot the exact, I have to pull up the exact emails of like when we first signed with these guys. But we pay like tens of thousands of dollars for this insurance that does not cover us.
Especially, I'm so curious. I'd have to go back and check. When he filed his first claim a long time ago, I wonder, did he go to his insurance company directly or did he file the claim through his broker? So his broker knows the types of claims that he's likely to file. Well, he must have, because there was a rate increase and his broker would have known why the rate was going up and everything, right? Like,
now the whole Logan Paul stuff happens. We call our broker. They say, no.
Fuck. I wanted to shit on Coffezilla. I wanted to go hard on Coffezilla. I needed to fight with the rest of the internet on this. But this sounds like you just got royally fucked.
Call our broker. They file with the insurance company. The insurance company says, no, we're not going to do that. The broker starts freaking out. It's the first time they've heard of this. They had no idea.
That's not acceptable. They're the broker. What are you paying them for, if not to read through contracts? Most of these are fucking probably boilerplate anyway. They should have a whole team of people that are used to reading exactly these. You probably flip through it. It's like, yeah, that clause, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Like, what do you mean?
This is all in writing too. Like, it's actually crazy what they put in writing. They're like, yeah, we had no idea that this was part of the thing. We didn't know. So,
like that, if they truly did say that, assuming Coffee's not lying about anything, then it sounds like the broker should just get fucked. This is their job.
Yeah, that's the full story of what happened. I mean, it's kind of tough because by the letter of the policy, it's kind of like, did the insurer do anything? I mean, they just offered us a deal and we took it. So it's more like, okay, well, the broker, anyway, we're talking to like people because we're like, dude, how can we pay tens of thousands of dollars for insurance that doesn't insure the thing we paid a broker to find us? It's like paying a broker to find you car insurance and then they like sell you like car insurance that excludes any type of accident that includes something with 4 wheels. Like that's literally what this is like. But now we're in this crazy position where we're having to like talk to lawyers about if we need to like lawyer up versus the insurance company that's supposed to be paying for our lawyers in the other case. Like, it's so stupid. We're now having to be like, wait, no, I think you scammed us?
It'd be against the broker because the insurance company probably didn't do anything wrong. I'm imagining they sent over the paperwork. The broker said it was fine. And then the broker said A-okay. And then it sounds like the broker is the big fuck up here.
Also to the broker, like we're in this ridiculous situation where we should have had insurance to protect us if our insurance didn't pay up. Because now we got to talk to all these other lawyers too. It's so frustrating. And by the way, not only are we now having to look at all our options for what to do about all this, I have to read you this, dude. The broker not only admitted he didn't know what was in the policy, he put in writing that the underwriter didn't know what was in the policy. So he says, the quote and email from blank never mentioned that this exclusion was being removed.
The underwriter did say that he was very surprised and confused by this. The quote and email from blank never mentioned that this exclusion was being removed. It is not common for agencies or underwriters to read through every line and exclusion of every policy that we receive. So while we could have checked the policy to see that defamation was excluded, some fault lies with the blank for not disclosing this to us when we were quoted. Bro, really? Hold on, I don't know anything about this industry, so I could just be totally fucking wrong. This sounds like this guy is scrambling. What? Hold on. Now listen, the underwriter they didn't even say that it was changed. Bro, what am I paying you for? What the fuck?
Not common for agencies or underwriters to read through every line and exclusion of every policy we receive. So while we
also, fuck, I'm talking so far outside of my expertise, okay? Just everything I'm giving you is like 10% conviction. I thought the whole point of an underwriter is somebody that basically affirms that like everything works out like to the formulas or mathematical calculations of the company. Like underwriters saying like, okay, well, here's the conditions. You know, you've got XYZ medical condition. Here's our payouts, the deductibles and everything else. We probably make money on this. And the underwriter like makes sure like, yeah, all of these things like fit our formulas. This is good to go. We're underwriting this. This is A-okay. You're ready to go. What would an underwriter do if not this?
could have checked the policy to see that defamation was excluded. Some fault lies with the carrier for not disclosing this to us when it was quoted. What? So they're just pointing fingers at each other, but...
And their broker, like, literally admits fault in the email. Like, holy shit.
The person actually affected is us. So... and then they also say they not only didn't know what was in my policy, they have apparently may have sold this policy to other people. In another email, they say, it looks like it's going to have to go up the ladder at the insurance company to find out why this wasn't disclosed to us earlier, that this exclusion was in there. I've been told by the underwriter that this has his full attention. I think he might be really concerned because they have a few other accounts with this insurance company. And if this exclusion is on all of them, then it's going to represent a larger problem for their business. So this may have been sent.
Well, but you have no idea. You have no idea if any of this is true, right? Because this is just being communicated to you by the broker, who himself might have completely fucked up, right? Now we have no clue what's true here. Like, the broker could just be covering his ass while he tries to figure out how to solve this because he knows he fucked up hard. It's in their best interest to get this resolved amicably for all parties. He might just be saying that so that Coffee doesn't like try to get a lawyer and go after the insurance company who's going to say, well, what do you mean? We sold them this policy. Underwriter approved it. It's not my fault your broker didn't fucking read it. We thought that was his job.
Accounts with this insurance company. And if
also, I could be very wrong. I don't know. All this seems really, really, really unprofessional. But maybe it's like really, really small businesses. Like, why is my broker telling me about like the back and forth he had with the underwriter, or telling me about what the underwriter talked about with the insurance company? Like, why the fuck am I even getting all this? What the fuck? This sounds like really, really, really wacky.
If this exclusion is on all of them, then it's going to represent a larger problem for their business. So this may have been sent to tons of people who think that defamation is excluded for them as well, and it like actually isn't. I just think this is so crazy to me that we're in this situation, but you know, we are. And ultimately now we're selling shirts. I mean, that's how we got here. That's how we got to selling this very cool, very nice shirt that you should definitely buy, because I haven't even calculated how many shirts I need to sell to make up for this, but it's a lot. Okay, so if you could help out, that would be very appreciated. Pre-order is for 14 days, I believe. We got this shirt. We got a lot more. You can go check it out on the website, coffeezilla.store. But either way, that is the story of how I got scammed. Yes, me, Coffeezilla, got scammed for $1 million. We got Dylan Dennis. We got fine printed, whatever you want to call it. Tough, man, tough. Let me know if you have a similar story in the comments below, because a lot of people I've talked to actually are like, yeah, I've had the same experience with insurance. Not media insurance, but they're like, yeah, I had paid for insurance that ultimately, I guess that's their job, is to not pay. Like they don't make money from paying out $1 million on a policy that they maybe got paid like.
To be clear, that's not the job of insurance. The job of insurance is not to not pay, right? Insurance wants to, this is like a weird, there's like weird things where people are like, oh, cops want to fuck you over, and the DA wants to fuck you over, and the government hates you, and the FDA is trying to fuck you over, and insurance trying to fuck you over. Like, what insurance wants to do is they want to charge what they think is a fair market price for covering whatever particular thing it is that they agree to cover. If you pay for it, and if your policy explicitly says that they cover it, they will cover it. And I call them and they'll do it. I've talked to plenty of people, believe it or not, fucking I scammed my insurance 15 years ago for my fucking saxophone, okay? Like, if you as long as your shit is covered, you call. I've talked to people that got like a full fucking rental car for a week, and their car got towed, and they didn't fucking pay anything because they're paying out the ass for their crazy no deductible bullshit or whatever. Like, if you have insurance and the policy says it and it's in the terms, like, you're good. Like, use it. You're fine. The idea that insurance is going to try as hard as I can to fuck you over, like, I'm sure it does happen in some cases, but like, nobody's going to buy your insurance if it's going to fuck you over intentionally and it gets like a really bad rap and nobody ever fucking pays out. Like, they know they're going to lose you forever as a fucking customer. Like, but
$30K for. So they make money from not paying out claims.
They make money from collecting premiums from people. That's where they make money from.
So I'm interested if you guys have stories below of time.
Because it wouldn't surprise me. My guess is the insurance companies probably have insurance for claims as well. That's probably the case.
Times where you had something similar happen in your life. I want to know about it. Either way, thanks for watching. You can appreciate a little pain at my expense. I'm laughing because I've had a little bit of time to process this. It's almost been a full month now, so sitting with this. Oh, actually a little over a month. So I can appreciate the irony of the situation. But when it first happened, let me tell you, I was not happy. I was sending some very angry emails. I was like, and yeah, that's basically it. Don't forget, go get yourself a shirt. Thank you, Coffezilla. I'm suing. I really got to sell shirts now. All right, goodbye.
Okay. Oh, good luck. I'll be back tomorrow.